United States proved once again that we have the most powerful, most lethal, most sophisticated, and most fearsome. It's a fearsome military on planet Earth, and it's not even close. I've been saying it for a long time. Nobody can take us. Nobody. We don't want to have it. We don't have a discussion, but you read all and you see everything else. Nobody could have done that. Nobody has our weapons. Nobody has the quality of our weapons. The problem is we don't produce them fast enough. We're going to start producing them much faster. We're going to be very tough on the companies. We have the best weapons in the world, but it takes too long to get them, including allies. When allies want to buy them, they have to wait 4 years for a plane, 5 years for a helicopter. We're not letting that happen anymore. We're telling our defense contractors, you're going to start building faster.
Can you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now, so I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United States,
but your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation.
No, but
that's why it's newly relevant.
No, I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take it off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again, is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out. The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
As Secretary Rubio stated just yesterday, this is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be used as a base of operation for our nation's adversaries and competitors and rivals of the United States. You can't turn Venezuela into the operating hub for Iran, for Hezbollah, for gangs, for Cuban intelligence agents, and other malign actors that control that country. You cannot continue to have the largest energy reserves in the world under the control of adversaries of the United States, under the control of illegitimate leaders, and not benefiting the people of Venezuela, and stolen by a handful of oligarchs inside of Venezuela.
Und da Dänemark der NATO angehört, wird auch Grönland prinzipiell von der NATO zu verteidigen sein.
And I'm back with another lesson. And the title of this one, The Pride of Thine Heart. But before we jump into it, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Mekakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone for bringing out this truth. Shalom to the whole full elect, which includes 144,000 rest elect out there scattered around the world, including those speckled bird Israelites who may look like the other nations but are not. And this is not a black thing. Israelites, they were scattered and they mixed in with these other nations. And they look like these nations. So it's not a skin color thing, because you are who you are based on the seed of your father, regardless of skin color. So this one goes out to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, because the scriptures were only written into the nation of Israel. This is my first in transit lesson. And this is a re-upload because I somehow lost the intro on the first upload of this video. So Salakia for that. So you've seen the pride of DJ Trump, how he's speaking boldly, with full of pride, thinking that he can't be defeated. And we know the scriptures tell us about Esau's downfall. Yahushua talks about, I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning, and that's what's coming to this man. We'll, touch on in the book of Revelations how his own allies, is going to turn against him in Revelation 17. The beast shall hate the whore. So that's coming for him. And you see he's making enemies with them, okay, right now, all right? He's, turning the whole world against him, okay? So everybody's going to come on this man, okay? Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, okay? The workers. That's what's coming for this man. All right, the moves he's making in Venezuela, okay, the puffing up against Colombia, the threats against Greenland, which is Denmark, which is NATO. Okay, you got NATO talking about, we gonna have to respond, okay, if you, basically attack a NATO country, because that's what, going after Greenland would be. Okay, and there's also threats to China and even Mexico. All right, so he basically thinks the Western Hemisphere belongs to America, like, oh, it's in our yard. All right. So that's the Esau Edom thing. Okay. He enlarges his desire as hell. Okay. That thief, that vagabond spirit is strong upon him. Okay. So he can't be satisfied and keep it not at home. All right. You want to be everywhere else. So that's the spirit Esau Edom is coming in. And these Edomites, they stuck in their delusion, standing there a lot. The Yahweh Shem Yahushua got us stuck in. All right. But pride comes before a fall. So there's no greater joy for a man than seeing the downfall of his enemies. So let's get into it. That one cut off. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So this is why DJ Trump, is talking that Cash Money, because he's so prideful. He doesn't think that it can be brought down. Remember, these people think that their houses are going to go on forever. They don't see their end coming, okay? And the Most High, he's laughing at them because he sees that their end is coming. Now, we know that their end is coming, okay, because we're in these scriptures, all right? So we understand that, all right? And it says, all right. When the scriptures talk about he enlarges his desire as hell. All right, so he's never had enough. Like, think about the landmass that is, here in America. Like, this is so much land. There's so much, like this place had resources and all that, and he's still trying to go after other countries, okay? Because he can never have enough. All right, that's the mindset of the Edomite. Okay, he wants to rule this earth. He wants that blessing, that was given to Jacob. All right, he wants to be the one that's calling the shots. Okay, which is, which will usher in the MOT to the B. They done chipped everybody, then boom. All right, he gonna have that godlike control. That's what he wants. But we already know that when he attempts to fill his belly, that's what's gonna happen, man. Right? You'll get struck through with that iron weapon. So it's not going to work out, the way that he wants it to work out. All right? That's what the scriptures tell us. Okay? And so now, if these Edomites actually begin to move on these other nations, okay, what you think that's going to do with their allies? Okay? Things like NATO. All right? You've seen in the video that if Greenland is touched, that will trigger NATO, okay, to defend them. All right, and that brings into play Revelation chapter 17. Okay, so not only that, all right, NATO's not gonna attack itself, so that's gonna push out the United States out of that organization. Okay, and there's also other videos talking about that would be the end of NATO. Okay, all right, so from Revelation 17, that America rides upon the beast. Okay, all right. So that's that nation, that's controlling everything within this NATO organization. So This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16, and it says, "In the 10 horns which thou sawest," which represents, the EU, NATO, all right, and the beast, okay, um, these shall hate the whore, right? So the 10 horns of the beast represents the EU and NATO, and then the whore represents Babylon the Great, aka America, okay? And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So they're going to end up attacking this place according to prophecy, all right? So that's inevitable. All right, now we're just waiting to see how this is going to play out. Okay, so starting off, with that pipeline, that Nord Stream pipeline that was, blown up some years ago. Okay, America has been doing things that hasn't been beneficial to their allies, so they're coming at everybody. Okay, even their own selves. The scriptures talk about a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. All right, and so these Edomites are going to devour themselves along with these other nations too. They're going to come against them, all right? So they've affected other nations. They're, puffing up their chests at Colombia. All right, you got China, all right, being affected by what's going on down there in Venezuela. Verse 17 it says, "Power had put it in their hearts to fulfill His will." Okay, so this is the will of the Heavenly Father. We know this all the way from the Old Testament, okay? So He is His design, His determination to gather these nations, okay? So they're all going to be ready for war, okay? It's time for them to, turn their plowshares into swords. We are in that time. It's a time for everything. Time for peace and time for war. Here we are at a time for war. And it says, "And give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of power shall be fulfilled." So they was going to go along with it, okay, until this time, all right, their power had set, okay, for everything, to start to crumble, all right. And the woman which thou saw it is that great city that reigneth over the kings of the earth, and that's America, that top nation, okay, that reigneth over the kings of the earth. Now, this man, DJ Trump, thinking that they can't be beat, okay, like they can't be touched. Oh, they could be touched, all right? Babylon the Great is going to fall fast, all right? As you see, this war that's coming is going to be unlike any other war, okay? The other wars that are fought with noise, this one's going to be fought with fire, okay? And guess what? This war is going to be realm against realm, not just people against people, not just kingdom against kingdom, all right? Yahweh Shai is coming back with Michael and the rest of the host of heaven to take this place down, all right? To deliver the kingdom to the saints of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13, and it says, "And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and that man is Yahweh Shai, coming with the angels." Okay. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Okay, that's the power Yahweh Shai is going to have. He said, "I will not meet thee as a man." Now, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt, and blazes from the chariots. All right, that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this, I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of them out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Okay? So these are the armies, okay, of these nations that's going to, be gathered together. Right? Now they think that they can fight Yahweh Shai, even though they're going to be scared, as we're about to read. Right? That ain't going to work out too well for them. But none of these nations are a match for Yahweh Shai. All right. So DJ Trump, the pride of his heart, had deceived him. Okay. In verse 6, it says, "But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it." All right, talking about this large chariot and the fathership. All right, think about Independence Day, man. It's gonna be huge. All right, you'll be able to see that sucker from everywhere. It'll be huge. Verse 7, and it says, "I would have seen the region or place where the heel was graven, and I could not." So it's so big, and Ezra couldn't see. Like, where this thing coming from? Like, where's the beginning? Like, this thing is huge. All right, come on, man. The 1/3 of the nation of Israel got to fit on that thing. Okay, it's huge. Verse 8. And after this, I beheld, and lo, they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid and durst fight. All right, so they're gonna be scared of Yahushua. All right, but they still gonna fight, man. All right, that's the will of the Heavenly Father. All right. In verse 8, oh no, that was verse 8. Verse 9, and lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lift up hand nor held sword or any instrument of war. Verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath. Okay, that concentrated heat from the chariots. All right, that's what's coming. All right, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Verse 11, and they that were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, um, and the great tempest fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burn them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So Yahushua is going to make quick work of these nations. Let's get back to the book of Revelations and close out. So this is Revelations chapter 18 and verse 17. And it says, "For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off." So it's talking about the destruction of Babylon the Great, how quickly it's going to happen. Right? So this place going to go down in an hour. So all of that pride DJ Trump has, okay, is going to amount to nothing. You know, pride comes before a fall, and who has more pride than Esau Edom? You know, scriptures tell us that pride wasn't made for man. So a hard fall is coming. Yahweh Shai said, "I saw Satan falling from heaven like lightning," and this man is about to fall. So keep your head up, Yasharallah. Okay, we're at the end of this thing. All right. So keep on doing the work, and believing, and reading, and praying. All right. More so myself, I got to keep going. Okay, because he that endured to the end shall be saved. So I hope this shall less ones edifying. Shalom, Yasharallah.